Patrick, Gavin, Politico. It is now time to turn the table with CNN's Candy Crowley. Candy, obviously more news about HealthCare.gov this week. The president continuing to make his PR push for that, and reports that the website is in fact doing a lot better than it was the first couple of months. But obviously there's an issue about enrollment numbers. Do we have any sense of whether or not there have been more signups to sort of make up for the initial lag?
Well, it's almost two different questions. Have there been more signups? Absolutely. Have there been enough to make up for the initial lag? That's going to be a very closely held, guarded secret, I think. And for the first time, when you're kind of watching the president, you really get the nexus of PR and policy. Because if he cannot, and he's their best spokesman, let's face it, get out there and sell this, the policy collapses. So there is very much the need and the feel that the president and all hands on deck at this point have to be out there trying to sell this thing, lest it collapse because people go, you know what, disaster, I don't want to touch it.
And obviously what this, I think the Obama administration would wish for, and they're starting to slowly get, are more success stories instead of these constant drip, drip, drip of, the red wheel of your computer not working on the browser, whatever it is. Are those stories emerging, more and more than the failure stories?
It's hard for me to quantify it because we're still getting failure stories, but there certainly are. The more people you get on a website that's actually working, the more success stories you're going to have. But the question really isn't what's happened today, how many signed up today. It's the 50,000-foot view, or let's call it the 6th, 7th, 8th month review. When you look at it from that view, how is it going to look? Did enough people sign up by March? Will more people come in February? It's not. The daily stories, I know they feel very pounded by them at the White House, but to me it's not as important as the president, whoever it is that wants to sell this and get out there with it, Sebelius, whoever they think is a good spokesman. They need to be driving people to this website again, the policy will collapse.
On a different topic, my colleagues had a great story up on Politico today, which is about some staffers to John Boehner reaching out to other Republican staffers, trying to teach the Republican Party as much as they can about not only how to speak with female constituents, but also how to campaign against female opponents. Obviously, Mitt Romney lost women in 2012, as he lost a lot of other groups. But there is a sense that the Republican Party needs to do a better job reaching out to female voters. Where are they falling short, and why?
Wow. First of all, I wouldn't discount the fact that married women tend to vote more Republican than single women do. Single women sort of overwhelmingly, but you're right, the overall picture is just women, most women voters tend to go for the Democrat. I think in the end, I don't think it's all that confusing. Women are interested in issues as well, but you have to get them to listen. And if your party is saying things that women deem harsh, that women see as the war on women, which was a wholly made-up slogan by the Democrats, but it worked, especially in Virginia, as we know, as long as that still has resonance, you're not able to connect to say, look, here's what our policies are, and here's what they think they will do sort of across the board for your kids, for your nephews or nieces or whoever you have. But you first got to get past that feeling that the Republican Party is unfriendly to women. Whether it is deserved or not, it is the image that they have out there. And you know that every time there's an image that's been solidified, every single story feeds into that gets great play. So it's not something you can do in a week or probably even in a season. It's something that you need to do election after election, and it first starts with looking at the language and seeing what is stopping women from voting for you.
All right, well, Katie, before we let you go, we're asking everybody if you are lucky enough to get some downtime during this holiday season to read some books, what books will you be reading?
I'll tell you, I'm going to read one book this season. The holiday season is not a time that I generally delve into books, but Clement Moore's Night Before Christmas, pretty much I'm going to read to the little ones in my life, and that's about the extent and the time that I've got. And as you know, that's like, there's nothing better than, sitting down and saying, okay, to a bunch of excited little kids who still believe. So that's my big book I'm reading this season.
That's such a refreshing answer because everybody else had, Double Down or Peter Baker's new book or all these wonky tomes.
All great books.
You've got an
but,
actual.
But the reality of my life
reading.
is, exactly, the reality of my life is I'm not going to read any of those books this season if I haven't already read them, so it'll have to be next year.
All right, Candy Crowley, CNN. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thanks.